Have you ever wondered what it's like if your passion and your paycheck are two different things? And have you been feeling kind of bad at what that really means? Well, in today's episode, we talk with Tamari Ziegler from Fab Hair International and Hair by Tamari, all about passion, profit, paychecks, and purses. Stay tuned for this awesome episode of some real deal ground level advice that you can use right away to be patient, more kind, more loving to yourself and your business. All right, let's go.
Welcome to the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. This is the place where you and your fellow empire-building entrepreneurs come to vanquish the burnout monster and boost your glow and cash flow with energy alignment techniques and tried and true marketing strategies. Since seven figures won't get itself, hit that subscribe button and never miss out on your chance to skyrocket profits, tap into your intuition, and manifest your dreams. And now, your host, Powerhouse Story Brand Certified Guide, award-winning marketer, bioenergetic business coach, and Japanese whiskey lover, Alea Harris.
Before we get into talking to Tamari, I want to go over the concept of you're not in control and the timing is not yours. No matter how great your spreadsheets are, no matter how wonderful you think your timing is, inevitably in the world of entrepreneurship, things are delayed or sometimes sped up and you're just trying to keep up. That's the beautiful roller coaster ride of being a business owner. But it also can be the scary part, right? Patience is a virtue. However, sometimes patience is one of the hardest things to cultivate. I know for me, patience is, let's just call it an ongoing life lesson. It's something that I'm constantly trying to cultivate. And the mantra that has helped me with that is the timing is not mine, but it's perfect. So if I was going to have you repeat a mantra to yourself, maybe throughout the day to day, or when you need it most in those slightly less patient moments, it would be the timing is not mine, but it's perfect. The timing is not mine, but it's perfect. Say it with me. The timing is not mine, but it's perfect. The timing is not mine, but it's perfect. If you can think about that throughout the day, all the minor setbacks or that email not coming when you needed it or that client not signing that invoice or that deal not going through, all of those things will hopefully be put into some more perspective. There's a whole lot grander things at work that are working out for your good. So sometimes patience is you just saying, hey, I know I don't got it all together, nor am I supposed to, but thank you for having together what I don't and what I can't see. And thank you for your timing always being perfect. Mantras are one of those recalibration strategies that I like to whip out pretty much all the time that I need it. If you're into and looking for some additional recalibration strategies, make sure you head over to www.flourishmarketing.co/recalibrate to download our recalibration guide. In that guide, you'll get some of those lovely mantras and journal prompts, as well as some exercises to help you come more into alignment with your energy and the energy of the universe. Because, hey, it might not be your timing, but it's perfect. And you know what? I'd rather be in perfect timing rather than in my timing any day of the week. That's just like I'd rather be happy instead of right. So think about that. Download the recalibration guide at flourishmarketing.co/recalibrate and see how you can get a little bit of observation and distance between your perfect plan that you think you've crafted and what actually is for your highest good. All right, let's dive in now and talk with the amazing and hilarious Tamari Ziegler of Fab Hair International. Hey, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with me, your host, Alea Harris. And today I am joined by one of our clients, Tamari Ziegler. Hi, Tamari. How's it going?
Hi, Alea. How are you? It's going
I
great, thanks.
I'm doing great. Even better now that I get to talk to you. I've been looking forward to this interview
Awesome. I'm
because
glad we're here.
I'm like, okay, no, I have my set questions, but I actually really want to know the answers from her. So I'm really looking forward to it. So, Tamari, before we get any further in, tell the people who you are, what do you do, what problem do you solve out in the world?
Okay, so I am an entrepreneur. I actually own a salon here in Inglewood. So I, of course, provide hairstyling services. And then more recently, because home hair care became a thing more so during COVID, I launched my own natural hair care line. So those are my two things, both connected though.
Yes, Fab Hair International. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
So if you're in Inglewood and you're in Inglewood, California, and you're looking for hairstyling products, please be sure to visit Tamari. And then also, so Tamari is a social media client. But then, I like to get into it. So like I've ordered everything. I have the scalp stimulator. I have the moisture mist, which I used on my hair this morning. And then I've had the leave-in conditioner. I think that those are the three main products. Did I miss one?
Yes. So yeah, you pretty much got the three main.
The
Yes.
three main ones, right? Those are the three main ones, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can attest that my hair is happy when I use Fab Hair products, which you can order
Yay.
online. Shameless plug for you.
You know, we appreciate it. FabHairInternational.com.
Hey,
If we're going to be in there shameless plugging,
if we're just gonna do it, let's do it, right?
might as well go all the way, right?
But people see like your gorgeous website, your obviously good social media, because I happen to know the people that do it. And it looks so easy. You make things look effortless. But as we know, the internet makes everything look effortless. But it hasn't always been quite so effortless, am I right?
No, it has not. It still is not always quite so effortless. I
No.
wish it was, but it's not.
I wish it was too. And unfortunately, with pretty much any business, it's never as effortless as it seems
Right.
on the ground. So, what techniques or tools do you use in this effortless, non-effortless journey to avoid burnout and stay in alignment both personally and professionally?
So for me, for personally, I am one who needs to like take breaks. So whether it's taking an hour to myself when I get home from work, or whether it's I need a longer break, let me take a little like staycation weekend getaway, or even a full week trip if that's what I have to do, or if it's like, oh, okay, I have time for it. So those are that's how I kind of keep myself in it personally, because it kind of gives me a chance to reset, refresh, and come back and see things with a new set of eyes again when I need to. Professionally, I still have to make sure I take time for me, but also understanding that I can't get everything done in one day. Um, and also accepting help, which has been a big thing for me. And I've had to learn
That's
a lot about
huge.
that this year.
How so?
Learning to accept help.
What's been some of the ways that you've had to accept help? Because I think that it's easy to be like, oh yeah, I've accepted help, and a lot of people are like, yeah, I've accepted help. I've let some person answer one email a day for me, like, but that's not gonna work.
Exactly.
So, what are some of the ways that you've accepted help?
So, well, I hired you earlier this year. So that was
That is
number
a
one.
great way to accept help. If anybody needs
Listen,
to accept help that way, we're here for that.
because I don't have time to do social media. Like, as much as if you see my social media and you see stuff running, it's only because Alea has been there to make sure I have stuff there. Because I will forget during the day. There will be no posts if you leave it up to me. I also most recently hired a personal assistant so that I'm working with my hands most of the day. I can't answer emails, answer phone calls, package products to ship out. So just so I have somebody to kind of help me handle the day to day. And as I grow, I'm sure there will be much more help that I accept and work with in the future. But yeah, those were my like two like main starting off right now, where it's like, okay, this makes my life much easier.
I love that. I mean, one of the things, so I just started working with my own business coach. I'm a firm believer. I am a coach, but I'm a firm believer that every coach needs a coach because
I
you
believe that.
have your own issues to work through. And my very first session with this big business coach, she said, well, let me just see your calendar, do a screen share. And she actually audibly screamed like a little, ah, like a little out loud.
Oh
And I
no.
said, I don't, and she goes, when do you breathe? And I said, in between 12:15 and 12:20. You see that? That's
Listen,
where we breathe. And she said,
I
I don't care
understand that.
what you do next. You need to hire someone to help you get more time, which is like what you were doing, hiring your personal
Yes.
assistant. Because often
Yeah.
we think of that as a luxury. Well, I'll hire that as soon as I've hired all of these other things. But then you can't think to do all
Yeah.
of the other things.
No. And I was forgetting to do stuff. Like it was really sad. And because I'm behind the chair 12 hours a day, it's like we literally all only have 24 hours in a day. So how do
Yeah.
you get 12 hours of work and then you have 4 more hours of work? How do you figure?
Mm-mm.
No, there's no
Mm-mm.
way. So
No. And every people are
help
like,
needed.
oh, well, you have as many hours in the day as Beyonce. True, but Beyonce also has an army of people behind her.
Beyonce has a team. I'm
Beyonce
building
has
my
a
team
team.
so I can be Beyonce.
Exactly. You can't be Beyonce by yourself, boo.
Right.
Beyonce has a team. You need to get yourself a team. And it's kind of like that put your own mask on first situation, right?
Exactly.
Because we often put our mask on the business first, and then we're sitting here gasping for air, then trying to help support this business, and then both end up failing. So
Exactly.
I'm really glad that you have done that. And I am trying to learn from the wise women like you and do the same thing. Because I have a team, but I don't. I still manage a lot of that calendaring and time myself, and I say yes to most things because I like helping people. So then
Right.
that's when I
Which I
breathe
get it.
between
That was
12:15 and 12:20.
yes, I get it because that was also my thing, and I finally had to be like, okay, that for clients, you only get what's ever available on the online schedule because otherwise, I'll say yes, and I'll be here doing hair till 2 in the morning. When do I sleep? Like, yeah.
Exactly.
So I completely understand that. I had to take myself out of it and be like, all right, I'm going to automate this so that you now I'm setting a boundary.
Ooh, I
Boundaries.
love
That's
that.
important.
We've talked considerably about boundaries. Certain things, boundaries, non-judgment, gratitude, but boundaries have come up in almost every single one of these interviews
Yeah.
because without boundaries, and the boundaries are not necessarily boundaries with other people. Yes, boundaries with other people important, but the hardest ones are the boundaries with yourself because
Absolutely.
it's me who decides to open up my Calendly just a little bit more so I could take just a
Exactly.
little more clients, right? Yep,
We're all guilty of it.
yep, we are all guilty of it, definitely. Okay, but you are in the area. You have helped other people take care of themselves with their hair and their beauty and their appearance. You're doing a
Mhm.
pretty bang up job, if I do say so myself, of taking care of yourself and putting
Thank
those
you.
things in place, which is hard. And you're doing it. I see you doing it. It's awesome to see.
Thank you.
But if you had 3 pro tips from your area of expertise, which I know is hair, and I know is empire building, and I know is self-care and care, so you can pick from any of those, but 3
Okay.
main pro tips that will help empire builders scale their business and enjoy their entrepreneurial journey. What would those be?
Ooh, 3 pro tips. The first would be the most important, I think, is be patient with yourself. Especially if you're a first time entrepreneur. I'm in my second business. Well, actually, more than my second business, but this was like my second successful venture at this point. But
I
over
feel
the
that.
years of me trying stuff, and some of them have failed, but learning to that I have to like be patient with myself and understand, A, I don't know everything. B, I can't do everything, which is also where I needed to understand that I needed to get help. But yeah, being patient with yourself and allowing yourself to to make mistakes, and things will be okay. Learn from them and just keep it moving. Um, that's number one. I would say number two is probably kind of what I was saying earlier. Make time for yourself, even if it's just a little tiny bit of time. Carving out a little bit of time for yourself throughout the day is, or at least even if it's like one day out of the week, or a couple hours out of the week, if that's all you really can give, right? Something like that is really, really important because it otherwise you will burn yourself out. And if you're no good to, if you can't, You can't pour from an empty cup, basically, right?
No,
So
you
if
cannot.
you're like, if you have nothing left to give, you can't do anything for your business or anyone else. And how are you serving anybody if that's what you're trying to do? Um,
What do
excuse
you
me.
do in that time? Like, 'cause,
Um,
well, that's again, it's like really easy to say because I say this all the
mhm,
time. Yeah, I'm gonna make time for myself. Not gonna work, but I'm just gonna read this business book real quick. I'm not
right,
gonna answer my email, but I am gonna
right,
do a strategic plan. Like,
right.
what do you do in that time to make it really like as juicy and useful as possible?
So for me, it's literally sometimes it's literally I just need to veg out. Like my brain just needs a break. So for me, it literally might be I don't watch a lot of TV all the time, but maybe I'm just gonna watch an hour of my favorite show, like whatever that may be. And cool, I'm gonna do that. And then I will get back on answering emails or whatever else after that. But I'm going to take this one little hour or maybe take a nap if I need to, whatever that looks like. Yeah, it's usually one of those two things, and nap doesn't usually happen as often. But it's like, let me just sit down and watch this TV show for an hour, and then I can get back up and handle the rest of the stuff I need to.
Yeah, I'm a good napper. I love nap. I like the nap queen sweatshirt. Pretty describes me pretty well.
I love it. I used to be good at naps. I can't take naps anymore. I don't know what happened.
What happened?
I don't know. I'm like the older I get, I can't take naps. I'm like,
You
what's
know,
going on?
I will agree. Like, I still can take naps, and I still am the nap queen, but they're not as seamless as they once were.
Yeah.
It's But that's also for me a sign that I'm stressed out because
Mm.
after I come back from a vacation, I can just fall into a nap or fall into sleep because my brain is not as
Mm.
wired. So for me, if I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Oh, I can't nap," I'm like, "Ooh, let me not use this time to nap. Maybe I need to journal some things out
Mm.
because I there's something up." It's like a little bit of a yellow flag, like, "Hey, something's going on. You might wanna check out here."
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
to
I'm
use
just
that.
saying. Okay, what is your 3rd pro tip for the people?
My third pro tip. How do I say this so that because everybody feels like
Ooh, just say it.
your passion is supposed to be your job or whatever. Sometimes your passion pays for you to do what or sometimes your job is supposed to pay for you to be able to do your passion, right? So if you like
Yeah,
traveling, maybe you're not supposed to be like
a travel
whatever
agent?
in travel. Maybe you're supposed to work at whatever job you're really good at, whatever that may be. Like for me, I'm a hairstylist. Okay, great. I love what I do, but I like to travel. I'm not like nobody's gonna pay me to go on vacations and sit in luxury hotels right now, though. And I'm not even gonna try and get into all that and try and figure out how to get started and all that. I know I'm good at this, and I know people are willing to pay me. Let me let me work within that first, and then maybe when I've made all the money I want to make, I'll work on my passion project of finding a way to get people to pay me to travel.
So how do you do that? So what are you saying then? Your hair care and your hairstyling, you're good at it, you like it, you love it, but in the perfect world, that wouldn't be what you did if anybody didn't pay you. If you were not being paid to do hair, you wouldn't do hair. Is that what you're saying?
I would, but well, no, actually, no, I'm not gonna do hair for free because it's a hard job. I would
No,
have
I'm
years
not
ago.
saying right now.
Yeah, years ago I would have, but yes, now I'm like, no, I work hard so that I can afford to go on a trip. This is why I
I
work
love
hard
it.
now. So
I
I
love
do
it.
hair, I stand behind these heads so I can afford to go on a trip. So I also have to remember that. And that helps me also set the boundaries in my business where it's like, you will not overwork yourself because you were getting ready to go on this trip. You will set your calendar, stick to it, and then go on this vacation and turn off for however many days you're going to be gone.
I love that. I love that perspective as well because a lot of people or some people listening might not be quite there yet. They might not even have found something they really like that is their day job. Like you like
Hmm.
doing hair, at least it's kind of like I go from what I like to something I love, not from something I hate to something I kind of meh,
Right.
you know? And so it's I think that's really inspiring to be able to use what's around you to do what you really love and to
Hmm.
use it as a tool. I think that's
Yeah.
really really great advice because everybody on the internet is like you have to, make sure that every moment of every day is something that you just live for. That's not realistic.
It's not. And As much as I love the internet, sometimes I'm like, where do y'all get this stuff?
Where did you get this from? I know that sounded great in one of those live, laugh, love magnets on your
Right.
wall, but that's not how
In
that
real
really
life.
works.
No,
Not
but
real life.
okay.
Not real life. Like, whatever, do you, boo?
Yeah,
If that really works for you, give me the secret.
that's
Give me the
awesome, right?
secret.
Yeah. No, I
Well,
also
one of the
found,
things, okay.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. No, I also found that, yeah, because like if sometimes when you're working in your passion, it also doesn't it doesn't stay your passion anymore, because once you have to start working on
Mm,
all the business behind the scenes, which doing hair was my passion when I first started. I love it still, but it's like I now have to think of all these other logistical things behind the scenes.
mhm.
So much as, yeah, I may enjoy playing in hair, I'm a business owner now. So it's a business now, not just, oh, this is fun because I really like doing it. So keep that in mind too, is the
Exactly.
other thing. Yeah.
That exact same thing happened to me with food. So I loved food, went to culinary school, became a
Hmm.
chef, and then as I worked, I was, a private chef, I owned a catering company, all of this lovely stuff, and then I was like, "Oh, this is." First of all, I'm sweaty 90% of the time, and then, like, you're schlepping things, and it was just like, "Okay, this is not that same." And then I mean, I gave you options on this menu, but you picked this menu. I didn't really feel like cooking that today. It doesn't really
Right.
matter. They paid me to cook this today. So all of those other things that come into that beautiful hobby and turn it into a business, I think that people often feel shame. I did. I felt
Yeah.
shame that like, oh, I should love this as much as I
Hmm.
did before. Something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong
No,
with
there's
me.
not.
It's just like what you said, it's not the same situation. The
Yeah.
context is different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was fun when you were doing it for your friends for free, or, just because I like cooking. But yeah, when-
I like cooking.
now I have to run a whole business and make this profitable. It may not be as fun as it used to be.
Exactly. I think that's real. Real talk from Tamari, everybody. So, I have a confession to
Hmm.
make. I actually hate going to the hair shop.
I understand that.
I'm Imma tell you why. I also hate going to the nail shop, kind of for the same reason.
Okay.
So, I'm a very sensitive person, and when you go in the hair shop, there's gossiping, there's and they gossiping about the person that just got out of the chair that you saw walk out and they just started talking about her. So as soon as you get up, they're gonna be talking about you. Do you see that? Yeah, girl. Her hair was this. Ooh, yeah, girl. You see that matted place? Mm-hmm. She knows she ain't supposed to wear that hair color. She know it don't look good on her. Who she thinks she is? Beyonce? Right?
Oh,
Oh, girl,
I
yeah,
have
her hair is
been.
thick. Listen, that's not even that good hair. Shoot, she's too light skinned for her hair to be that kinky. All of that is what happens in a black hair salon, people, for those of you who are unaware. So I actually hate going to the hair salon. I love the look, but I hate going to the hair salon. Even though, like, every single hairstylist I've ever gone to, I've loved and adored, but it's that experience. There's a lot of energetic exchange, and I feel like when I go into the hair salon, I have to, like, put on this armor, like I'm going into, like, emotional battle, right? And I come out like, "Whew, let this go." But I keep going because, I'm vain.
Right.
So I'm not gonna not go to the hair
You want
salon.
to look right. You want to look good. So you're like, whatever, I'll put
Yeah, I
up
still
with
wanna
this
look good.
for the
There's
look.
that. I mean, the nails are 3
Sacrifices.
weeks, so, like, you know. But you're in there, like you said, 12 hours a day,
Hmm.
every day, at least 5 days a week, right?
Yeah, 5 days a week.
5 days a week. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with protecting your energy and staying positive and staying focused in an environment that can be a little less than conducive to positivity?
Well, so luckily for me, my salon does not have that
Mhm.
because I get to set the tone. And because I have worked in salons that are
Ah.
like that, and I don't like that energy, right? Because you go home feeling drained. And I've seen how it affects clients, and I also know how it affects me. So when I opened mine, I was like, this energy can't be in there. So I also limit
Mhm.
like how many people I work with, because I can't have everybody's energy in the salon. That goes for whether it's other stylists I work with or clients. So I've gotten to the point now, thank God, that I can be a little more selective of what I choose to interact with. when I first started doing hair, I had to do stuff I didn't like, and for clients I didn't like, and in salons that I hated, just to make sure I could make, ends meet and pay my bills. But at this point, it's like, yeah, I'm just, as you grow, you get to be a lot more selective, which is thankful for. But also seeking
Yeah.
out people who have energy that matches your own, or like kind of a trajectory, or maybe working with people that are kind of in a place where you want to be. So I worked in a salon that I loved because the owner did not allow all that gossip. Nobody was talking about the people who
Mm.
just left as they were getting their hair done or as they were coming in or whatever. And I just was like, wow, it's really not that hard not to have to be in such a negative kind of space. It's you if you set it up this way, and whoever sets the tone, which as the owner you set the tone usually, then that will follow. I've also worked in salons where the owner set the tone, and maybe when the owner's not there, it's cool. And then when the owner gets there, if she's the one who's the gossip and the has a lot to say, that's when all
Mm.
that energy comes in with her, and it's like, oh, okay, and everyone follows suit. So I kind of have like been very careful to, since I'm the one in charge, I set the tone. And if I start seeing stuff like that kind of happening, kind of shift the energy into another
Mhm.
direction, just so that way we're not making anybody uncomfortable.
Well, I clearly need to come and visit. And then how do you how do you set the tone? Because I love what you're saying about taking control of the
Hmm.
energy and you not being a victim to the energy around you, but you being able to change it and shape it the way you want. And I think that that's a analogous to your whole life
Hmm.
too, right? Not just the hair salon. It's
Right.
like you do have the power to do that for your whole life. But hair salon or in a larger sense, how do you do that?
So for me, it's honestly, I have just been blessed where I have this mentality where I always think you get to choose to remain positive no matter what the situation. It could be a negative situation, because we all go through negative situations, of course, right? Whether it be personal, professional, whatever. But find a positive somewhere in there and focus on that. So that's kind of my mindset with everything, whether, like I said, business, personally. So even if I'm having a hard day at work, it's like, okay, well, what about today is going well, so that I can focus on that and I'm not focused on the client who just wore my nerves low and, maybe didn't communicate something clearly. That's fine. We're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the, hey, this client really enjoyed the shampoo, whatever. And now we're going to, so that'll keep my energy going, so I can finish the rest of the day positive.
I love that, flipping it around, flipping the story
Mm-hmm.
around. For me, a lot of my energy gets sucked when if I have, like, a cash flow issue or something's happening, and so I've
Mm,
decided that every day I say what my money win is. And it's like, "Girl, you didn't make no money today. What's your money win?" Well, my money win today was that I reached out to this client and they signed the contract, the invoice is
yeah.
coming. Or my money win today is that I actually, talked to my bookkeeper. Or my money win, and so whatever it is, you flip it on its head. And
Exactly.
I love
And
that about
flipping it to the
taking
positive.
charge.
Yeah. Flipping it to the positive. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
it may not have gone the way I wanted it to, but where did it go right? Somehow, even if it's not.
Where did it go right? We're always so focused on where it went wrong. Where did it go right? And we don't ask ourselves that question very often. I know I don't. And I should ask myself that question more often. Okay, that is awesome. I love flipping it on its head. I love saying something positive, but it's easy to do when you're kind of like all big and bad and successful like you are currently, right? It's easy to be like, "Oh, yeah, just make it into a positive." But think about yourself, the past version of yourself, like a year after you started your business, knowing that there was no magic bullet, knowing that it was not all smooth sailing. What is the number one piece of advice you would give to that past self to maybe ease that journey or to help that past Tamari flip it on its head?
So technically, I'm in the midst of that right now, right? Because with the hair care line, I'm kind of starting all over, right? Even though I know a little more now than what I did when I started my last business. Um, and knowing what I know now, I always, especially people I know coming into starting a business, be patient. Nothing happens overnight. There's a lot of work that has to happen behind the scenes for you to even get to the point where you feel like you're successful. But also pay attention to the like you were saying with like your money wins, pay attention to those little wins. Like, hey, maybe I'm really slow, but hey, today I might have actually had somebody who called and booked an appointment. That's great. Looking at things like that definitely helped me stick with it. There was a lot of times when I wanted to give up. And there was a moment when I was like, I moved into a salon. I hated it. I was broke, had left my corporate job, ran through my savings, and was like, you know what? But hey, you know what? You have a client tomorrow. And even though you don't have a full day of clients, you're going to give that one client the best you've got. And it can only go up from here, basically.
Really?
It's the mindset I had to keep.
Yeah.
Like, it can only go up from here. And it literally, as I kept that mindset, people around me realized how positive I was. So they actually, like, even clients were like, oh, I referred somebody to you because, like, yeah, I love my hair, but I also love the positivity I got from you while I was in your space. So I think just maintaining that, even when I'm stressed out, like, and screaming deep down inside, I think is really, really important.
Yeah.
Just like somehow finding a way. I don't know how I did it because I don't know. Even last year during COVID, I'm like, somehow I found a way to be positive about the fact that hair salons were closed for about 7 months out of the year in 20.
Yeah, but you figured it out.
That was really interesting.
You figured it out. You're still here. Yeah. Salon's still open, doing well, booked out.
Exactly.
Started a whole new business.
Exactly. So yeah, there we go. Just figured out how to pivot. That was, I think, probably my biggest lesson over this last year, especially.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that I like about I like everything that you're saying, but one of the things that I like about what you're saying is that there is no silver bullet to success. You can be patient, but there are things that attract success to you, including positivity. Because you can be all Debbie Downer and in the dumps and people like, you're stinky. Like, it's like your energy literally smells bad, right? So they're like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. Especially when you deal with hair, you can be around someone for anywhere from 3 hours to 8 hours, right? Depending on what you're doing to them. And if you have a negative person around you for that long, it's a slog to come back. So I agree. Latching on to being positive is super good advice. Super good advice. Okay, so now we're going to get into our journal prompt question. This is the question that people out there can answer for themselves, and I encourage them to do so. And then you are going to answer it to kind of get them started, or their Kickstarter. And we talked about how your passion isn't always your paycheck, but how do you use, because you've had to go through lots of ups and downs, and you've used a lot of willpower to do it. So how have you used, and can you use your willpower to turn passion to profit?
Ooh, how do I use my willpower to turn passion to profit? One, figuring out if your passion is profitable. That's probably the most important, right? Will somebody actually pay me for this? And does it solve a problem?
You're like, do we need another macrame artiste? Maybe.
Yeah, like some things it's like, oh, okay, you like paper mache. Do we really need a paper mache artist? No, not so much. But hey,
do you?
Find somebody who
for everyone. But if you're trying to be a millionaire, paper mache probably is not the way you should try to do that. That's a lot of paper mache.
Exactly. Right. So first off, figuring out if your passion is profitable, I think, is probably the most important thing. And then once you figure out if it is, figuring out how to separate yourself basically from it, so you can kind of operate in it without getting too attached to what the outcome is. So I had to kind of learn that sometimes, great as I think I am at doing hair, everybody didn't there was not a time back in the day, there was times when people were like, this didn't really come out the way I wanted it to, whatever. And I had to learn how to remove myself from that because it is my passion. I'm like trying to hold on to it. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't love it? You have to love it. No. Okay.
Why don't you take a step back? Really, you don't have any taste.
Right, exactly. Like you can't go, you can't approach it like that. But taking myself out of it so that I was able to see things from a different lens and then problem solve where things weren't maybe going right was really important. So, and I'm sure that's important in any business, right? Because I've had to learn to do that in other businesses too. I had to
Absolutely.
even learn to do that when I worked for a corporate job. It's like, okay, I might really enjoy doing this, but if somebody else is not seeing that, okay, let me take a step back and see what maybe somebody else is seeing so I can make the necessary adjustments. Because I think when we work in our passion, we want everything to look like what our vision is so much that sometimes we don't realize that our vision might be important or special to us. That may not necessarily be how that solves the problem for your target client. So sometimes you have to
Absolutely.
look at it from your target client's perspective.
They will not pay
Even
you unless your
sometimes,
passion solves their problem.
yeah. And even I even had to learn like some of the best lessons I learned were from me going to get my hair done from other stylists. So putting myself in a position where I could learn things from people in the who worked in the same industry who may not have even known that was what I was trying to do, or some who I was very clear that, hey, this is I really need somebody to help me out. I'm trying to learn. But there was also times where it was like, I may not really have it right now, but let me just go get like a quick little shampoo from somebody else just so it'll give me a little perspective on where I might be able to apply some of those things into my business. So that was really important for me. And then also just carving out time to really like think about and look at like my experiences, whether it be in the business or whether things that I wanted to happen in the business, and kind of being setting setting goals so that I was very intentional about how I was moving through that. So once I see myself getting to this next goal, okay, let me set this goal. And every time I would make a goal, I would do a little something like to treat myself, to keep myself going. Um, Whether it was buy myself something or, whatever that may look like. I'm sure it's different for everybody. But for me, it was like, and it would also like be something that maybe I wasn't quite like, I would usually go shopping like, oh, I'm going to buy this purse. I may not really have all my money together. I'm just going to save it up. And when I meet this goal, I will buy
I'm
that
gonna get
purse.
that purse. Yep.
So it was like,
Not that
but
I've
then when I
ever
got to,
done that, ever.
but it also, it helped me kind of manifest things and like keep going toward the next level. Okay, I got my Michael Kors purse this time that I really wanted, and because I made my $500 and I had an extra $500, and then maybe next time it's going to be a Louis Vuitton purse because I wanted I wanted to the goal is also to save $1,000, but I have to have a certain number of clients to do that or make a certain amount of money, right? So it was just little things
I
like that
love the
also to help me
purse reward
manifest.
system, girl. When you get to Birkin level, let me know.
Listen, girl. If and when I get to that level, I will let you know. Who, God willing.
God willing. God willing. I know.
We're
I
not there yet, but
I was
one
on my
day.
own purse reward system, and I should get back on my purse reward system because it is very motivating because purses are like status symbols basically. So
They are.
you leave with your bag, and then not only are you rocking that brand, but it really means something. It was like a real accomplishment to you.
Exactly. It's more than
Yeah.
just a purse at that point. It's like, oh, okay, this is the like, and sometimes like for me, it may not even be a purse. It might have been, oh, okay, I'm gonna take a first class flight. I can't really afford to fly first
Ooh.
class regularly, but I'm gonna sit in first class on this trip because I really want to. So putting myself in position to experience things that were on the level of where I was trying to get to, I think is just
Yeah, I
really
love
important.
that.
So you kind of give yourself something to work toward. Like, I want this to be a regular for me. So now I can do this regularly. Okay, cool. Now I can buy 50 Michael Kors purses if I want. Great. Yay. But now what's
Yay.
next?
But I do love that because often we don't have a flavor or a sense on our palate for what we're trying to go after. It's a nebulous concept. But by doing that in little bits, I love that you're really it's not just mere visualization anymore. It's like, no, I'm gonna give myself a little taste of this. And if I want more, I have to work for that more.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
That's really good. I did that with our cars, when we were writing this, 2010 Toyota RAV4, and we rode it literally till
Mhm.
the wheels fell off. The ball bearings in the wheels fell off. Out of the wheels
Oh,
fell
wow.
off. Yeah, off. Luckily we were near the house. And my friend at the time was like, well, I just got a Mercedes. I can barely afford it, but it's what I'm using to get to that next level. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. Here, enter in my husband. Baby, I think we should get a Mercedes now since the the RAV4 is not, we can't use the RAV4 anymore. I'm like, I just
See?
don't know. I just don't know. Then we got the first Mercedes and I said, well, you driving this car, where's my Mercedes? So then we got a second one. And I
See?
worked my ass off because I was like, oh no, well, you're not just gonna be driving around in one. I
Right.
am. If you're gonna be extra, I'm gonna be extra.
Right. I can't go back to the RAV4 now.
I gotta go back to the RAV4 now. So we gave ourselves, not that there's nothing wrong with the RAV4, they're still quite zippy cars.
Right. They're great
But
cars, right?
they're great cars. But then I gave myself that taste, and then I changed my lifestyle and the way that I saved and spent and all of that to be able to afford
Mhm.
that. I put myself in position when I was still working at corporate for that promotion because I was like,
Mhm.
well, I'm in a C class. I sure would like an E class. Like, right?
Exactly. See?
And everything that comes with it. It's that
Mhm.
carrot, in the
Yeah.
carrot and stick analogy, something to work towards.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to dangle
Yeah.
your own carrot sometimes. It can't
Dangling
always
your
be
own
external.
carrot.
Sometimes you have to have your own carrot. Like, okay, you get here, you can get this
Right.
reward.
And I do like that it's not external because
Mhm.
then you don't really you're waiting for somebody else to give you something and waiting for someone else to
Right.
validate you and your goals and your dreams. And we do that all the time, all the time, all the time.
Right.
And that's sometimes not a bad thing. Like if you go out for an award or something, it's cool when you win the award. That's cool.
Yeah.
But that can't be the only measure. So now, girl, you know what all of this bottom line did for me? Buying a purse. That's really I'm gonna be
Go
like,
shopping.
babe, no, no. Tamari said, babe, no, no, no. Listen,
Look,
listen.
don't put me in that
Tamari
because
said
I am
I
not
have to
going to have to
buy.
answer to your husband for why you bought a purse. I'll be
Tamari
like,
said
she
I
bought the
have to
Birkin
buy
on
a
her own. I have
purse.
nothing to do with that.
That was her business advice. No, I'm just kidding. But
I'm
I
be like, I
might
don't
get
know
back
what you're
on my
talking
purse
about.
reward system to give you something to work for, especially like in a pandemic or something. We've all just gone through
Yeah.
hell. And there was no real reward system. It might have been like, ooh, I'm going to actually order dessert. I'm fancy. Like the rewards
Right.
step themselves way back.
Yeah.
And now it may be time to step the rewards up a little bit. Step them up.
See. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. So now I'll show you my
Scale
new
it
purse.
for where you are at the moment.
Absolutely.
That's what seems to make
Absolutely.
sense.
Well, yeah, that is what makes sense, I think. Because I mean, we're not gonna say everybody needs to go out and buy a Louis bag or everybody needs to go buy a Mercedes. Where you're at right now in your experience might be you're gonna go out and buy that extra dessert, and that's okay. But I like that holding your own markers for success and how awesome that is. So thank you for that gift in my day today. I appreciate that. Well, Tamari, this has been lovely. And besides you restarting my purse purchasing habits, you've given us so many wonderful nuggets of wisdom. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If
Thank
people
you.
want to find you
Thank
to
you for
buy your
having me.
amazing Fab Hair products, or if they're in Inglewood or around the LA area and they want to get their hair done, or if they just want to connect with you about anything, where can they find you online?
So you can find me a few different places actually. So for the products, our Instagram is fabhairint. The website is fabhairinternational.com. Um, the full product line is there. I also drop some nice little tips on the Instagram every few weeks. So keep an eye out for that. Also, if you want to connect with me as a hairstylist, um, I am available at hairbytamari.com and also Hair by Tamari on Instagram.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. You've been a lovely guest, and I appreciate
Thank you for
all of your
having
wisdom.
me.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And everyone, this has been this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with me, your host, Alea Harris. If I don't talk to you or see you before then, before our next episode, have a wonderful rest of your day and sending you lots of love, light, and abundance. Bye for now.
This episode is brought to you by Followers to Dollars Social Media Management by Flourish Marketing. Today is the day you stop stressing about social media. Instead of worrying about what to post, how to get more business from your Instagram account, or keeping up with the never-ending algorithm changes, outsource your social media to Flourish Marketing. Our team of expert copywriters uses the StoryBrand SB7 framework to create highly converting, strategic social media content that will grow your business. Plus, we schedule it for you so you don't have to lift a finger. Not only do we help create white space on your calendar by taking social media off your plate, but we also use data and analytics to get results. One of our clients, Tamari, said, "I've tried several other social media managers in the past, and Flourish Marketing has done the best at delivering real, on-brand, engaging content that my followers are responding to." If you want to join the ranks of our happy clientele, visit www.flourishmarketing.co/social-media and click Schedule a Call today. Did you know that it takes over 20 hours to produce a month's worth of winning content? Think about all the ways you could spend that time. Don't waste another moment. Reclaim your time by heading over to www.flourishmarketing.co/social-media right now.
Wow, Tamari had some amazing advice. Some of my favorite was just being patient, and of course, her talking about purses as motivation. There's all kinds of techniques that I've used to help with willpower and sustaining energy and moving forward, but purses might just be my favorite thus far. And I love how she said you really have to reward yourself, and you're setting your goals, so why can't you set your own reward system? Really great advice. We don't always need to look for permission. We don't always need to look for external validation. Often that validation that we're really looking for is from ourselves, and we so often don't give it. We're a little stingy at times. So this is your opportunity to find your own willpower and your own motivation. Hang your own carrot and move towards that goal that you know is coming and it's right there in your grasp. Also, it's a great time to be realistic about those goals. The first time you reward yourself should not be when you hit seven figures. Maybe the first time you reward yourself is when you book your first discovery call, or when you even create the Calendly link to book the discovery call. Make sure that you are kind to yourself along the journey. There is enough anger and resentment and frustration and bad juju out there without you adding more onto yourself. So I encourage you to love yourself, be kind to yourself, and watch how that positivity, like Tamari was talking about, continues to help you fuel your abundance. Tamari is one of our social media clients. We have a Followers to Dollars social media program. And if you're interested, I highly encourage you to sign up at flourishmarketing.co/social-media. All right. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next episode here every Wednesday at the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with me, Alea Harris. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. Dive into the show notes at www.flourishmarketing.co/podcast and connect with Alea at Flourishing Entrepreneur on Instagram. Vibing with what you hear? Leave a 5-star review to spread the love, and be sure to click subscribe. From the entire Flourish Marketing team, we wish you love, light, and abundance. See you next time.